Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this edition of Follow Suit Fashion Unfiltered. And to all my first-time viewers, I'm going to give you a brief synopsis of what Follow Suit is all about. The name Follow Suit is a mantra, meaning to follow the suit. And as you follow the suit, you're going to come to realize that the suit is a role model and a father figure whose purpose is to give guidance to young men of this community as well as to society. And it is my goal to honor and salute some of the individuals who not only put on the suit, but they wear it well. Hence the point, my guest today, Mr. Ron Bell. How you doing, sir?
Good to see you, man.
Hey, it's my pleasure. I know you're a very, very busy man, and I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule and coming through on my show.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to follow suit. This is an opportunity for us to help our younger brothers, man. And I know we've had discussions around, some of the way young brothers dress, man. Right. And, I remember as a young child growing up, one of the things that we did as young people, when we went to church, we dressed up.
Right.
It has changed tremendously, man. So I'm just happy to be here.
Yes. And I appreciate you coming through. So like I said, since the title of the show is Follow Suit, Fashion, we're going to talk a little fashion, then we're gonna spin it and bring it up to Ron Bell and everything that Ron Bell's doing.
Okay.
So I see you looking good. You got on a nice tie. I like the pattern in it. So who inspired you with you as a young man? Who was that person that made you get dressed and you took on that after that?
I think, again, it's just the way we were brought up. Mom and dad, when we went, she made sure that we always were clean going to school, I'm a Bostonian, grew up in Mission Hill, and again, as I mentioned before, going to church, you had to wear your Sunday best. Right. Now it's different, One of my friends, Bishop William Dickerson, who grew up with me, he went to Boston Land. We played in the backcourt. I remember I said, man, why are you wearing the suit to school? He in the 8th grade. Right. I'm in the 7th grade. He in the 8th grade. He used to wear suits. And I was like, man, what's up? And of course, my older brother, he was an inspiration to me. Because back in the day, brothers dressed, to the T, right? And so when you see that, you act out what you see. If you see brothers dressing and clean all the time, you aspire to be that.
Right.
But if you see folks walking around as they do today, their standards are lower. So I'm here to follow suit and set an example. And you got a nice suit on yourself, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. I'm trying. And it's crazy that you say that and you mention it is because we come from that same area, maybe a couple of years just separate us. But we, like you said, the guys before us dressed that way. And it seemed like after our era, it's become a lost art.
Yeah.
So we're trying to bring that back, and get these kids to pull their pants up.
Right.
Put the guns down, pull their pants up, dress for success, follow suit.
Yeah. You know what's so bad, man? It's that it's one thing for our young brothers, right? Which I don't agree with, but when you see folks our age with their pants down and with the pants not being clean in the hygiene, right? It's like, as I mentioned, it wasn't always a suit during the week for me, but it was like hygiene, brush your teeth, comb your hair, wash your face, put on lotion, just be presentable. Right. That is so important. And I thank God for my mom and dad because they made sure that we look good, that we represented. And so for me doing it, when I ran the Missionary Community Centers, take your hat off inside the facility. Now I see folks, they don't even follow laws. I think with the COVID and the pandemic in this moment, people have gotten lax because you don't have to go out as much. You can be behind the camera. I remember I was watching a show. The guy had his underwear on, but he had to talk. He got up by accident and forgot. I think that we need to educate our young brothers and sisters. It's really bad when we see our young brothers, but when the sisters are starting to wear the pants down too, that's not a good thing.
Exactly. So, do you remember when you brought your first suit on your own? Without no one picking it out for you? Like you said, moms always took us and pops took us out.
Yeah.
You remember that time when you had that feeling you wanted to go get your first suit and spend your own money?
Yes, I think I do. It's been a while. I think when I had my first job, ABCD, You know, we always made sure that we were good going back to school. Because,
Right.
you know, as a young man, my family made sure we had jobs. You know, from even to a point being an entrepreneur, I used to shine shoes. I used to shine shoes in Brigham Circle, right? And I used to save my little change. And I made sure that I would be able to buy my own clothes because I come from a family of six, if actually it's 8 of us right now, you know. And 3 boys, 3 girls, and then we have 2 other brothers that were in Alabama. And again, when we got our first checks, we made sure that we bought our own clothes because mom would go to Robel's and get us the, you know, the fake sneakers. I wanted some Converse or some Pro Kids, you know what I mean?
Right. Yes, sir.
But as far as getting a suit, I think my first suit probably was when I graduated from high school. I think, but I didn't buy it. I picked it out, but my mom's went with me. My father wasn't really influential as far as suits. He worked 2 full-time jobs.
Right.
He was a welder.
He didn't have time.
He didn't have time to wear a suit, right? But moms made sure that we wore our suits. And matter of fact, you know what? It was before I graduated. We were at the Salvation Army. One of your brothers, Twain, he went to school, church with us, the Salvation Army. And we all were clean. And I remember, actually, we even had a fashion show at the Salvation Army, and we were laid out. And again, Bishop Dickinson, we were like this. We want to make sure we look as good as him. Because, you know, it just made you feel better.
Right.
You know how they say, dress for success?
Dress for success.
Let's be successful. And that's where I'm at. And I keep that same mindset. Even with my son, I try my best, God help him. They feel that peer pressure. What you're doing, man, is a good peer pressure. Follow suit.
Right. Thank you. I appreciate it. Mm-hmm. So, you know, like you said, it's something that was instilled in us.
Yeah.
You know, it was instilled in us. You know, I know some of your history. I know you played basketball in high school, middle school, whatever. So I know your coaches probably had that effect on you, too, of being a man and giving you the off-the-court lessons as well.
Yeah. I would say this. One of my classmates, Charles Davis, Chuck, from Mission Hill, he's one of the coaches that helped won many championships. I understand that they won 13 under, 15 under, and 19 under. Mission definitely has the ball players, right? And we always refer to a black teacher that we will never, ever forget. His name was Mr. Lee, Thomas A. Edison, and he made us feel proud to be black.
Right.
During the era of busing in the 70s, we were shipped out to the Thomas A. Edison Middle School, and I guarantee you, I was in 6AA, so that was like the smarter kids, and Chuck was there, and that training that he provided for us, it was like us being in college in the 6th grade. So I ended up going to Latin, and you know, being the only black in the class, you didn't want to look shabby because you had to represent.
Right.
So, you know, I made sure that I looked good. And of course, you had to be good on the court. So on and off the court. So Mr. Lee was like the inspiration, that male figure. My basketball coach, Donald Garnett, the late Donald Garnett from Mission Park, he was very instrumental in far as developing me. As I mentioned, my father was there, but he worked 2 jobs because he had to take care of his family. From there, from Boston Latin, playing basketball, being all city, I've been able to use basketball as a tool to increase voter participation.
That's right.
And
so
I can talk
don't
more
go
about
in
that.
it. Don't jump the gun. We're going that way.
I'm
don't
going to slow down. I'm in campaign mode. So.
That's right. That's right. So we're gonna speed forward, and we're gonna go into that anyway. So now we're gonna talk about Ron Bell, the man.
Yeah.
When like you said, you came up. You was a basketball player at high school. You got you got some of your influential stuff there, and then you translated that and to working in community centers, working with kids, and that's why I brought you on there, because you worked with kids, you worked in the community, and one of my guests that I brought up, one of the first person he mentioned as who inspired him, he said Ron Bell, Tobin Community Center.
That's nice. Man.
You know what I mean? So your influence is carrying on, your legacy is carrying on. So let's talk about Ron Bell and how you transformed from what you was doing to what you're doing now, and how long you've been doing all the stuff you're doing now, especially with that tremendous thing that's still going, the Dunk the Vote campaign.
Dunk the Vote, yeah. I'll start back in the 70s when my mother and her neighbors fought Harvard University for affordable housing. We were living on Kempton Street. Again, one of the best ball players that I can remember as a child was Doc. He played for Brighton High School, Brighton Bengals. And Doc used to have me playing with the grown men. I was 13, and Doc was like strong black belt, played ball, but he made sure that we were tough, all right? And so I remember everyone was afraid of Doc, you know? So Doc would pick me, and I was 13 years old playing with grown men. Right. So, you know, so that's like, I'm a black little skinny kid playing with grown men on Kempton Street. That's where it got started. That's before Mission Park. Right. And so Doc would make sure he would have that strong voice, and he would be clean the house. I mean, he could dunk, he could do all that, Doc. And I remember that I was afraid to miss. So if he gave you the ball, he said he'll make a pick and shoot. You better make it. So he scared you into being good. Fast forward, as I mentioned, my mom and her neighbors organized and fought Harvard University for affordable housing for residents. We were displaced. We moved on Francis Street, which is across from Brigham and Women's Hospital. Yes. And we all were like, we want to move to Mission Park. My first job was with John Sherrod, who's the architect of Mission Park, Roxbury, Tensor Harvard, which includes Mission Park, Francis Street, Fenwood Road. You know, I mean, I remember you from back in the day there. And I seen the plan of a community. Seen the swimming pool, seeing the little people, you know, the whole floor plan for a neighborhood. And so I remember we were living on Francis Street in the yellow house right next to Santana Bank. It's still there. I go by there every now and then just to get that, you know, flashback, that reflection, that memory. And we kept saying, Mom, we want to move back. Because we were living in RTH Co-op. And so when Mission Park was built, we were one of the first families that moved in Mission Park, right? It was brand new. I had my own. No, I didn't have my own room. I was sharing a room with my younger brother. But, you know, but it was nice. We had the facility. We had the most diverse community in the city of Boston. That is like one of the best places to raise a child in Mission Park, right? Fast forward, as I mentioned, one of my mentors, Donald Garnett, he was the youth director. I became the president of the youth council. Eventually, I became the youth director, which I believe I was one of the better ones because I grew up there. I was rooted there. Right. My mom founded it. So I made sure that the young people had better than what I had. We had a little teen center on Kempton Street, but now we had various programs, Roxbury Tensor Harvard, Hoyas, Roxbury Tensor Harvard, baseball team, football team, basketball, using sport as my entree to get across social message as I do today. Fast forward from Mission Park, Roxbury Tensor Harvard youth director. I went into corporate America selling investments. I was good at it, but I didn't like it. It wasn't me. Right. I went to Boston Latin. From Boston Latin, I went to Cheney State University where I played for John Cheney. Didn't work out. He transferred to Temple. I ended up going to Bentley College, played for Brian Him, Division II basketball. From there, I came back to the community, I became the youth director. Then I became the director of the Mission Hill Community Centers, which included the Tobin Community Center, the Johnson Community Center, which was formerly the Rec. Right. And we named it after Mr. J, who I used to play in his 13 under. So I became his boss, which was kind of awkward. Right. I had 80 staff, many of whom were older than me, many of whom I looked up to as role models. I was one of the youngest directors in the department in 1989. As you remember, 1989, I got my initiation of the Stewart case. Pregnant white woman allegedly killed by a black man, all out hunt for every black man, civil rights savagely violated, right in front of the center, pants being pulled down, home ramshacked. Now mind you, at the center we had early intervention with Children's Hospital, we had an after-school program, gang and drug deterrent program, back-to-school program, youth outreach program, numerous programs, servicing 1,000 people. Here, little old me from Mission Park, right? But to see that, I never forget it. And I turned around because I seen these black men being strip searched. And I'm in the process of getting the directorship. I was assistant director to the director for 3 months, getting paid for the system one. You know how they do us, right? Yes. I finally become the director, and I said, you know, the Stewart case happened. We got through that, and I said, there's something we got to do. We got to do something for our community. I went to elected officials. Everybody was shying away. Because everyone believed that a black man killed this pregnant white woman. Charles Stewart was he came from Reading. He picked Mission Hill intentionally because Mission Hill at that time had the high incidence of heroin in New England. A lot of people don't know that.
Right.
And here I'm the director of one of the most diverse communities in the Mission Hill, which includes, I want to tell folks that, right? Mission Hill includes Alice Taylor, Mission, Maine, the Triangle, top of the hill, the back of the hill, Mission Park. That's Mission Hill. Longwood Medical Area is Mission Hill.
Yes.
But they've changed the demographic
Yes,
because they didn't
we
want to
know.
be associated with it, right?
Of course.
And so for me, I wanted to bring Mission Hill together. Even my mom, even before, God bless her soul, let her memory,
God bless us.
yeah, let her be a memory for us and always carry out the legacy of Ma Bell, had the best fried chicken in the whole wide world, right?
Okay.
She would say, even unto her last day, I'm from Mission Park. My sisters, I'm not from Mission Hill. So I had to do that with my staff, because, you know, Alice Taylor had there. That's it. Because Boston, as you know, it's 23 neighborhoods, the city of Boston. It's very turfish, but there's neighborhood pride. I could be in California. Where you from? Mission.
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
Academy.
Right.
Right? Orchard Park.
Orchard Park. I'm from both.
Right, right. You see what I'm saying? It's not like, you know, I'm from Boston. Like people go out of state, right? They say I'm from Boston and be in Quincy.
Right.
Or Milton. You ain't from Boston. Anyway. So, but I wanted to always give back. I always wanted to get power. So what we did during the Stewart case, it ended up being her husband that killed this white woman, Carol DeMady, God bless her soul, and her brother who, Carl DeMady, who's been very helpful and supportive of the Senate during that time. We started holding voter registration drives at local stores. Unfortunately, the brothers weren't coming out to the drives. It was really bad. What better way to reach brothers back then? Sport of basketball.
Right.
So at the tournament, we had voter registration going on, machines showing people how to vote, because it can be very intimidating. Then we had banks and blood pressure check, all the disparities we deal today. 50,000 votes, registered voters later, we helped change the political landscape of Boston. We're still doing it. We're in 8 different states across the country. Dunk the vote, forever.org, if people want to find out where we're at. We're excited about this election, very historical. As you've seen the guide that we have,
Yes, sir.
there's so many candidates that are running. I'm so proud, because back in the
This
day,
is,
right?
You're the
Yeah,
architect of this here,
Yeah,
so
man,
y'all pay attention.
Yeah, we asked them the tough questions, like, for instance, like, what do you, black males? You know, we have the commission that's going to be taking place on Wednesday of this week. That's going to be signed, hopefully by acting mayor Kim Janey, and that's going to really make us feel we made some progress. Because I smell freedom, I smell justice, I smell it, right? We're this close because we need to do it.
That's
So.
right. And so,
And I know I've said a lot.
you did, and it's just funny because, you know, like I said, I brought you on here to honor you and salute you for all the
Thank
work
you,
you've
man.
done, and like I said, you inspired the young men that actually you tutored, mentored, and all that, and coached along the way. Because actually, one of them, the same young men that was under your tutelage in the Tobin Center, he recently ran for office. He didn't make the cut,
Right.
but he ran. So it's like you can see your work full
It's a
300 and 360 come full term with just the fact that one of your students, players,
Right.
he's doing the same thing. He's following behind you. He's following suit.
Right,
You
right.
know, and so like I said, it's great to have you sitting here, and you're an inspiration to some of these young men out there who
Thank
are
you.
already on the right track to inspire to bigger things.
Right, right. Well, you know, one of the things I've always said that I don't know it all. I not only does, and first of all, thank you for saying that, because that's important. Because, you know, one of the things as an organizer, you sometimes got to be double jointed, pat yourself on the back,
Right.
Because a lot of folks don't know what the word thank you means, or they don't even say it enough. And we need to start thanking each other. We need to start setting examples as you're doing with Follow Suit. This is so important to me, man, because we're losing our city. We're losing lives. I remember during the time, of course, yes, it's great to support these young brothers. It's great to see them succeed. But what about the ones that don't?
Right.
The ones that end up incarcerated, the ones that we lose their lives at young ages. I remember one year at the center, I got sick from going to funerals, because not only do they want you to attend, they want you to have words. And to see them
Right.
young black faces them architects, them doctors, them lawyers, them geniuses, them basketball pros, and all that in our graves.
Right.
Anytime I see a brother like yourself or myself or others that are doing, because black men are doing it against all odds and challenges we face, but we rise. We rise against the challenges that we're up against. We rise. As I mentioned, I smell freedom. I smell justice. I got justice in my DNA from Ma Bell and Papa Bell. That's instilled in me, and I try to share that. I learned from others. We're in an intergenerational disconnect. Generation X, Y, Z, Generation I, I'm finding out. We need to find a way to make the connection so we can teach the younger brothers with the pants pulled down, pull them up.
Right.
Because you are somebody, right? That's my goal. That's our goal.
Right.
That's a bad suit right there.
Thank you, brother. So, as you're talking, do you have an internship? Anything? Do you have something structured where you can get some young men to come follow right behind you right now and show them to get them going in another direction? You want to give out some of that information?
Yeah, I definitely do. Dunk the Vote Forever, #4ever.org. One of my latest projects I'm really proud of, it's called Real Talk for Change, REALFOR, change, CHANG, I can spell, .org, right? And basically it's telling our stories because stories are so important. Basically with Real Talk for Change, which is a collaboration, Dunk the Vote with MIT, right? And a number of other organizations that are doing conversations, crisscrossing around the city to hear people's story. The question that we pose is this: what is your question for the future of Boston? How do you see yourself in it? That's the question, right? How did you come up with that question from your personal experience? So we've been hearing some tremendous stories, and conversations have been developed, and we're looking for folks now. We're looking for them to enroll in that Real Talk for Change. You can go to our website because stories are stories and conversations are conversations. But my goal is to turn these conversations into action. One of the conversations where brothers talked about the commission that's going to be signed. That's action. That's policy. When you got policy, that comes with money. We understand what money. There's a scripture that says money answers all things. The love of money is the root of all evil, but money answers all things.
Right. So basically,
I missed you up with that one, huh?
Yeah, that's good. So any young person, any young person who's tired and has their community, doesn't want to see their community in a better place and wants to get involved, they need to go to that website,
right,
and get involved, and they can voice what's on their mind and what's in their heart, and something that can help change this community and get it where it needs to be.
Right. And right now we're looking at 18 years and older because you have to be a registered voter in order. We encourage people to register because there's some folks who may be immigrants who may not have their green cards. We want everyone to be involved in some capacity, but the ones that are not, that are able to register, we encourage them to register because when you register to vote and vote, you are part of a system. May not work for you, but you can make it work for you when you start holding elected officials accountable. I'll go back to 1989. We exact punishment on elected officials that did not stand up for our rights. But guess what? Money started coming in from the institutions, Harvard School of Public Health, New England Baptist, and I raised $7 million at the Missionary Community Center in my tenure there. We had programming. There were thousands of people a day coming in the center because we were politically active. I want folks to catch the vision of that, right? Because that's so important. Some folks detach themselves, and guess what you end up? Net worth of $8. You know what I mean? That's not our fault, but we can change the system and the narrative. We're in a new norm. In this moment, George Floyd, we know what George Floyd, it wasn't just George Floyd, that's us. We've been harassed, we've been ostracized, victims of police brutality. It's time for us to take charge of our own lives by telling our stories in these conversations so that we can change Boston for the better and be inclusive for everybody.
Okay, I appreciate you, brother. I know
Thank
I
you,
hear,
man.
you know, you wear it on your sleeve. You're a Bostonian through
Yeah,
and
I'm a
through,
Boston.
and you're for the community.
Thank you,
You know what I
man.
mean? You stand for the community, you're for the community, you're in the community.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you. And like I said, it's been my pleasure to bring you on here and
Yeah.
salute you. And as they saying now, the new saying is, I'm giving you your flowers today.
Thank you,
know,
man.
for all the work you have done. And remember that, dunk the vote. That was a very powerful thing. And let's get out there. And so you young men out there, let's get our act together. Let's pull our pants up and start dressing for success and being men. You know, and once again, this is my great friend, Ron Bell.
Thank you,
I
man.
appreciate having you come
Appreciate
through,
being
you
on,
know. I know you're on a time schedule.
Yeah,
He's
it's
out
election
there.
time. I'm like,
Keep
Thank
up
you,
the
man.
great work.
Thank you, man.
Okay, folks, we're going to wrap it up. Once again, this is Follow Suit Fashion Unfiltered. My guest, Ron Bell, and we're out. Catch you on the next one.